Here some time ago, a minister friend. I just heard this told. I believe it. One hot afternoon down in Georgia, he was visiting with a druggist. The old druggist was a fine old Christian brother, full of the Spirit of God. And he said, come in and sit down and let's have a Coke. They were sitting there drinking a Coke. He said, I want to say something to you, and you perhaps will not believe this. Well, let's hear it first, said the minister. He said, I have always tried to do my best for God. He was a deacon in a church. He said, I've always tried to live to my calling and do that which was right. He said, I've never cheated anybody. I've always testified for my Lord everywhere I could. And he said, to my drugs here, said I've tried to carry the very highest class that could be bought. I've never overcharged anybody. I've tried to do everything was right that I know how to do to serve the Lord. He said, I'm going to tell you what happened. Said my son, who is studying to be a druggist too, to follow me, he was in the front of the building there one day, and said he was doing a time of the Depression. Said a little lady walked into the door and said you could see what her trouble was, and she used to be a mother, and her husband, and both of them poorly dressed. Said they give the prescription over to my son, and said to have it filled, for the woman was in need of this certain thing that the doctor had prescribed for her. And said, he said, this will be so much, such and such. When the to-be father asked, how much will it be? So and so. He said, sir, I will not be able to get the prescription fulfilled or filled. He said, because that I haven't any money. Well, he said, my son said, go right down the street there, just a half a block, and turn left, and you'll see where the place is where they have charity. And you go there to the county, and they will perhaps give you the money to have an order that they'll pay for this prescription, because it's got, the lady has to have the medicine right away. And said he went out of the place, started, and said he listened to his son, and something said, oh no, don't do that. Said that woman needs that. Said he had to think, that long line of people down there, it's hard for a well man to stand in the line, let alone a mother in that condition. Said I said to my son, go call him, tell him to come back. He said, and I rushed to the door and said, come back, come back. They come back, and I said to my son, fill that. There's no charge. And said, my son, give me the prescription, and I went over and had it filled and filled it up the best that I could, and brought it out to give to the lady and tell her that there'd be no charges on this. That was all right, because she was in need of it real bad, and I'd get by without it, so the money for it. So said I just started to lay the medicine in her hand. And when I did, I looked at the hand. They were scarred. Then I looked up and I was putting it in Jesus' hand. Said I learned then that the Scripture's what it meant, in so much as you've done for the least of these my little ones.